what I want to ask you is a couple things. First off, how different is this? The game really taught me not every mid-major created equal. Like when you went to UNC Greensboro, good as they were, like a couple years ago when you went to the College Cup, they looked totally like overwhelmed. You could tell it was like their first time here. Denver, you can tell it's been a power program despite their conference, and really looked like a legitimate, soccer team. As you've said, the conferences don't always matter. What's the difference between like a Denver, the constant mid-major power, and like even some of the teams that lost, earlier this tournament that are like a flash in the pan?
Yeah, I mean, Denver's done a good job for the last 10, 15 years of being a team that's, I don't know their record in the tournament or tournament appearances, but they've been a team that's been in that conversation, and obviously made a College Cup run back in, I think, 15 maybe. So yeah, they've done a good job, and there's a lot of good players out west that they've been able to keep here, and they're well coached. They're a good team. They have a good culture. So no, I'm not surprised that they are able to be competitive in these rounds.
Yeah. And then for difference between other years, you lost golden goal a lot of times, overtime, penalty kick. This is only the second time, I believe, since that Wake Forest loss you actually lost in regulation. Does that make it any less hard to take, knowing it's not a heartbreaker at the end and your fate's maybe?
No, I mean, they're all tough. It's what I just told the guys is that no matter what team or what year we've not advanced, the team that was pushing on the front foot, whether the game was tied or whatever, it's us. And we have another gear that we always find, and we couldn't find the goal today. But the second half, I mean, we had them pinned in. They couldn't get out. So we just had to be a little more clever and a little bit more decisive in the final third, which was off today. But regarding, yes, golden goals are tough, penalties are tough. They're all tough, but you're not seeing at any round us just not performing. That doesn't happen. So that I'm very proud of.
But speaking of that, what was the adjustment in the first half? Denver kind of dominated. You were lucky probably not to be down a couple more goals. Your defense made some great plays. And then second half, as you said, you really took it to them. What changes did you make in the
a couple
locker
defensive
room?
setup. We were a little out of sorts with some of our decision making and matchups. And once we did that, I thought it simplified it, and we were more effective. And I thought our guys grew into the game. Also played a little bit better. We were a little more courageous on the ball. Our passing was cleaner. Our passing wasn't very clean first half. So I think we just played better, and we weren't able to let them really get out of their half much.
And then final question is the only other thing is that somebody like football's obviously a big deal this weekend because it's the bucket game, because of the playoff. IU may never be in this situation again, and certainly there's no history of it with you guys. Well, you didn't do it this year. Next year you're going to take another serious shot at a title every year. So how is that different, knowing that like maybe football at IU or other teams or even Denver, who's not there every year, where they could be a flash in the pan, and this may be their best chance ever, versus you're always going to be back, and fans expect you're always going to be that national championship contender. Like it's not we just lost our greatest, team ever.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for the other scenarios. I just know that what gives me a lot of confidence is that I know that we'll always be back competing in these big games. And that's all I can speak of our program. The other programs and what football's doing amazing, and there's no reason to think they can't keep doing that too. But we're always a team that's going to be in the conversation, and that gives me a lot of confidence to know that we can get back to work and put a team together that will be fighting at this round again.
And then I guess the only thing with that could slightly change is obviously you got it together this year. You were helped by the conference, but what can you do to maybe avoid the slow start, so maybe you don't have to be frantic in October to get in and host, so you're ready to, not like the last 3 years, so you're ready to go from the get-go and you're hosting all the way through and giving yourself the easiest path possible for a title in the future.
We'll dig at that. We'll dig a little bit when we have a chance to recap the season and see what we could have done a little different to start the year, but we did what we needed. We got into a situation where we had a great opportunity to advance to Elite Eight, and it didn't happen today. But again, we're proud of the team and certainly proud of the guys.
Okay.